Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via, and I'm currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder in Red Onion State Prison in the state of Virginia in the U.S. of A. And this is my podcast, Red Onion Randy. Last time I left you off, I was coming into the new pod. And, I had some concerns with dealing with other inmates, gangbangers, and, getting access to the phone in the kiosk and so on and so forth. And if someone did pull one of those stunts, pulling up on me saying, hey, you got to pay to use this or that, how was I going to respond? Was I going to throw everything I've worked so hard for away? Was I going to try to talk to him and be diplomatic? How was I going to deal with this? And honestly, I wasn't sure. The good thing is, though, I didn't have to find out. When I came over, first thing I did was unpack and so on and so forth. And then when I come out to use the phone that afternoon, I grabbed the phone at the very end. And you have 6 payphone style looking phones on the wall. And so I grabbed the first one, and I went to start using it, and the guy pulled up on me and said, hey, look, man, ain't no disrespect, but, that's my phone. I've been over here for a while, I've grandfathered that phone in. And he said, man, use that one right there. And I was like, all right, that's cool. So I gave him that phone, and I just slid over one to the second phone. And I used the phone, I called, I talked, good conversation, and I went on about my business. I started pacing the floor. I wasn't really talking to anybody. When I first come over here, I'm just kicked back, kind of in the cut a little bit, just, watching, see who's who, seeing how the pod is run, seeing how the officers are carrying themselves, and so on and so forth. I was just on, a little information gathering mission. And that's one of the things you really want to do when you go to a new pod. You don't want to just jump out there. Even if you know a bunch of guys, you still want to kind of sit back a little bit and just gather in some information, do a little bit of thinking and seeing, okay, where do I fit in? You need that time to assimilate, because that relieves a lot of the pressure, that relieves a lot of the stress and the mental and emotional things that you have to deal with. So the crazy thing is, I come over here with the expectation that 9 times out of 10, I'm going to have to fight for the phone. I'm going to have to fight for the kiosk. I'm going to have to just tell dudes, look, man, I'm going to use it, and that's what it is. You want to fight, we can step in the cell, handle business. I was actually in the shower after my workout, washing up and everything, and the guy come down. I was like, hey, yo, man, is that all right if I use the phone? I'm like, yeah, I can't stop you from using the phone. He was like, no, man, is it okay if I use your phone? I'm like, I have a phone. He was like, yeah, the dudes in the pod gave you your own phone. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not using it right now. Go ahead and use it, but I do want to use it when you're done with it, so don't ride out with it. And he was like, all right, yeah, you good. And that's how I found out that the gangbangers in the pod gave me phone number 2. That's my phone to use now. If you want to use it, you guys have to come ask me permission for it. And that right there just alleviated so much stress, so much anxiety. And it's like, okay, good. That's just a problem averted, which I'm very, very happy about. And then it's like I said, that was a good thing. Things really didn't change too much because, like I said, I'm the guy with the podcast talking to whoever many people in the world is normally a quiet guy, and which I really am. For some reason, this podcast just brings it out of me, and I have a hard time shutting up. But other than that, I'm quiet. It went good. My first few days went good, but it was weird. It's like my skin was itching, but from the underneath, because I wasn't used to being around people, like this many people. I was only used to being around like 3 or 4 guys at a time. Now I'm around 30 some other dudes. That's a really weird feeling, man, when you go from being by yourself for such an extended period of time that I was, to all of a sudden being around so many people. I mean, man, that is nerve wracking because you got guys walking around behind you and beside you, and they're doing this and they're animated, or they might be arguing with someone else over a score of a football game or a gambling bet or something like that. So it's like, it's really on edge. But thing is, when I get like that, I work out because that helps me deal with stress. It helps me tire myself out. It helps me keep my mind from becoming overactive. And that's the thing about a person like myself that has a really phenomenal imagination and creativity. It can actually harm you somewhat when you get to letting it dwell in the negative thought space. And I kind of did start to do that a little bit. And it's one reason why I stepped my workout up. I was working out for 1 hour. Now I'm working out for 2 hours, especially on cardio days. On cardio days, I put it in. And we get outside rec 1 hour a day every other day. And so, I switch my workouts to where I do my cardio on that, and I'll do an hour in the cell, and then I'll go out on the rec yard and do an hour. And now I'm actually training guys, how to work out and how to get their cardio up because they see me, they watched me work out, and they were impressed. I mean, I had dudes, walk up. I've never known, I've never seen before, never talked to before. They'll walk up and just, hold their fist out for a fist bump, like, yo, man, get that money, dude. You putting that work in. Trying to, man. And, now all of a sudden I'm training several guys, helping them get in shape, helping them to, to get a six pack, to build some muscle and giving them some pointers on how to do proper form. Things have been pretty good. I've got a lot of guys. I swear, I'm actually quite popular now in the pod, which is really surprising to me. But it seems like I'm the only person in the pod that knows how to fix things, that knows how to make things. And so, I've got guys coming up all the time, saying, hey, yo, man, dude, do you know how to fix this? Or do you know how to make that, man? Or can you do this for me? How much do you charge? I'm like, man, yeah, don't worry about that, man. Just what do you need? If I can do it, I'll do it. If I can't, I can't. And so, I've been, helping guys take care of stuff. I've been talking to a couple of guys trying to be a positive influence in their life. You had one guy who was talking to him and he was like, man, I just feel so weird. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? And he was like, man, just mentally, man. It's like my mind is like, man, I just feel so weird. I can't really put my finger on it. And I was like, well, dude, it's easy to see. You're tired of the negativity. And it's like, and as soon as I said that, like his eyes just kind of popped wide open. He was like, and then he looked at me and thought for a second. He was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. And I was like, look, man, you got to start making better choices in who you hang out with and who you talk to. You got to, some of the things that you're watching on TV, some of the music that you're listening to that has that negative overtone, man, you got to sacrifice that stuff and let that stuff go. You got to start, watching more positive stuff. Because if you want a more upbeat, positive life, every human being is a bucket. Right? Whatever you put in that bucket is what you can take out of the bucket. If you don't put it in the bucket, if you want positivity, you have to put positivity in your bucket. If you want happiness, you have to put happiness in your bucket. No matter what it is that you want in life, you are the one responsible for putting it into your bucket. That way you have it to draw upon when you need it. And I explained this to him, we had really good conversation. And I've talked to guys over here. This is one thing that I've learned, and I had to learn it the hard way. One of two things are going to happen in life. Either you are going to kill your pride and ego, or somebody else is going to kill your pride and ego, especially in an environment like prison. Because if you don't learn how to control your pride and ego, others are going to control you by just simply saying certain words to you, by speaking to you, slightly disrespectfully or just flat out disrespectfully. You have guys in here that don't know how to talk. and they're extremely rude. Like, I mean, they will come up to you and they will ask you for something, and they'll be like, "Yo, mother, I'm gonna need you to do this for me, and you're gonna have to get this done by this certain time." Yo, man, who the f- are you talking to? He was like, "No, I'm asking you to do this for me." Shit, you ain't asking me like that, bro. No, man, you better go back and try over again, man. Go get some notes from somebody. You don't speak to me like that. If I show you respect, you're gonna show me respect. And this is the thing, they're like, they truly, honestly don't understand by coming up and calling you a mother effer and demanding you do something for them by a certain time. They honestly think that they're being respectful, that they honestly believe they're just simply asking you for your help. And they just cannot see how bad they are at just social communication skills. So I've been trying to help guys like that and just, teach them that, look, man, if when the day you start killing your own pride and ego, and what I mean by that is you stop letting other people's words and actions get to you. Look, talk is cheap. Actions are priceless. All right. What a person says out their mouth, take that with a grain of salt. And that includes me. Look, you people don't know me. I'm in prison for a reason. I'm being as legit and as open and as honest as I can. If I hadn't, I would have never told y'all that I was molested as a kid. I would have never talked about the abuse, and I would have never opened up about my emotional struggles and my all of these things that happen in my life and have happened to me and that I've done to myself, and me being such a liar when I was younger because I absolutely hated and despised myself. I'm doing the best I can to be as open and honest as I can. But even with that, I still caution you to take it with a grain of salt. Take what I say and apply it to your own lives and test it. Because that's what I do. When somebody comes up to me and offers me advice, I'm like, all right, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And then I will take it and I will actually put it to the test. And I'll see if it works or not. If it works, I will incorporate it in my life. If it doesn't, I chuck it to the side and I move on, keep looking, and I keep on looking for new ways to improve, new ways to get better, and I encourage you to do the same. So when you kill your pride, when you have to kill your own ego, you do it because by not doing it, you're allowing other people to control you with their actions and with their words, with what they say to you. And that's a huge problem in prison because you can say something to a guy, and I mean, you can just literally see them instantly get mad. And that's, I'm just trying to teach, I'm just trying to be a positive influence in people's lives, help them, just to be able to keep them from spending the rest of their life in here, just to keep them from getting out and coming right back to prison. I mean, that's a terrible thing to say. I cannot begin to tell you how many times I've seen a guy go home and months later, I'll see them back in prison. I'm like, wait a minute, dude, didn't you go home? Yeah, man, they got me again, man. I was out there doing this and that. And I mean, and some guys have actually gone home, come back, gone home, come back, gone home, and come back again. I mean, it's like a repetitive cycle. I'm like, dude, what's the freaking point of going home, man? Just stay here. I mean, you're just wasting everybody's time and emotions. I mean, stop throwing your life away. So, I'm doing what I can in this pod. And it's a pretty good pod. It's a pretty laid back pod. It's nothing like I thought it was going to be. But, I'm trying to make it better. And that's all we can do in life. Find someone that you can talk to. Find someone that you can help. That doesn't necessarily mean that you will succeed. But this is the thing. Even if you don't succeed in helping them, by simply trying to help them, you will succeed in helping yourself and making yourself a better person. And that's the beauty of it. Good deeds produce good deeds. They produce good results. They make you feel better. They help you. They inspire you. They encourage you. They uplift you. Doing stuff like that, if more people in this world would do that, we would not have the problems that we have. I encourage you to do what I'm doing. Just try to be a light to the best of your ability. And if you screw up, you fail, don't let that stop you. Just simply sit down, think about it, analyze it, and say, okay, this is where I went wrong. This is where I went right. So I'm going to focus on doing this. And everybody that you help is a different person. So honestly, you're constantly having to evaluate how to help. But don't let that discourage you ever, because life is beautiful. Life is wonderful. I recently told a friend, they asked me, how can you be so happy? And I'm like, look, I'm not happy because I know God or I'm known by God. I'm not happy because of this or that. As a matter of fact, I have very few things to be happy about. I don't get to do the things that I would like to do. I don't have access to stuff that I would like to have access to. I don't get to eat the way I would like to eat. I mean, I've discussed the food situation on here numerous times, so I'm not going to touch that again. I mean, I have people in here look down their nose at me. I have all of these, I have my own internal issues and struggles that I fight with daily. I mean, I have so much stuff negative and just bad and just, it freaking sucks in my life. But this is the thing. I'm not going to wait for life to tell me when I can be happy. I choose to be happy. I make the decision to be happy. That's what I encourage y'all to do. That's what I'm encouraging these other prisoners in here to do. It's a choice. How you respond to life is your choice. It's up to you. But yeah, the pod has actually been good. I'm glad I came over here. It's so much nicer to be able to get out of the cell, a couple more hours a day for pod wrecking. There's not much to do. But like I said, I find stuff to do. Even if it's just walking around, just talking to myself in my head, creating something, or planning out a conversation, or trying to come up with a new topic from a podcast. I do those things. They make me happy, and it's just nice not to be in the cell all the time, locked in your bathroom 24/7. I mean, it's so freeing. I'm so much more relaxed. I didn't realize how much stress I was carrying when I was on the other side of the yard. And even though for the last year and a half over there, yeah, I was technically speaking in a level 6 population. But just because you got so little wreck over there, and because only a couple of people came out, and those people that came out were really, really negative, and I didn't like them except for Frank. Frank was the only person in the pod that I truly and genuinely liked. But, I've known Frank for a long, long time, and he is a good dude. But I'm working on some things. I'm trying to...
You have 1 minute remaining.
I'm trying to get some children's novels that I've written published. I finally got access to a lawyer, which I will discuss maybe on the next podcast. I'll break down that whole situation for everyone, because a lot of people do ask me about it, so I will explain it. But unfortunately, my time is up. This has been Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoyed listening to me. For those of you who listen to me on Apple Podcasts, I would truly appreciate it if you would go and review me and rate me, preferably 5 stars, but I'll take whatever you think I'm worth. And, yeah, take care. Stay safe.
Thank you for using GTL.